the framework of these 10 major signs that we look for an explanation of Gog and Magog. I have a book entitled Jerusalem in the Quran. And that book has a chapter, Jerusalem in the Quran. There's a chapter in this book which deals with Gog and Magog. There's another chapter in this book which deals with Dajjal, the false Messiah. And this book basically deals with explaining the subject of the return of the Jews to the Holy Land to reclaim it as their own. It basically deals with what lies ahead of us in the world. What is the destiny of Jerusalem and the Holy Land? I recommend this book to be read. When Gog and Magog are released into the world, Suratul Kahf of the Quran initiates the subject to explain it. Suratul Kahf is surah number 18 of the Quran, entitled The Cave. In fact, right here in my native island of Trinidad, I have been working for the last year and a half to write a book on this subject, entitled Suratul Kahf and the Modern Age. It is Suratul Kahf which introduced us to Zulkarnain, someone who possessed faith in Allah, but who had power, a power which could not be resisted by any force in the world. He's like a superpower. And Surah Al-Kahf explains to us two journeys which he made, one to the east, one to the west. The one to the west came first, and then came the one to the east. And then he made a third journey, and it was most probably north. Wherever he went, Zulkarnain had the power to impose his authority anywhere. And the Quran gave us very interesting information. When power rests on the foundations of faith, as in Zulkarnain, power is used to punish the oppressor. Did you hear that? That when power rests on the foundations of faith, faith in what? Not the American Constitution, faith in Allah. Then power is used to punish the oppressor. And then when power was used to punish the oppressor, Surah Al-Kahf explains that power now goes on to assist those who have faith in Allah and whose conduct is righteous. And this was called the rule of Zulkarnain. Then Zulkarnain traveled to the east, and there he met a people who were living in a subsistence economy. They don't know where tomorrow's food is going to come. When people are living in such poverty, living a primitive way of life, when power rests on the foundations of faith, how will you relate to such people? Zulkarnain had the compassion, the good sense, the integrity, not to disturb their way of life. And then Zulkarnain traveled in a third direction and came upon a pass between two mountains. And there he came across a people who said to him, O Zulkarnain, Inna Ya'juja wa Ma'juja mufsiduna fil ard. Gog and Magog, these two tribes of people, are committing havoc in the land. They are terrorizing the people. They're using power to oppress, to punish. Can you help us? Can you build a barrier to protect us from these people who have the hearts of beasts? We're prepared to pay you. Zulkarnain says, what my Lord has given to me is more valuable. I don't need your money. He says, just help me with manpower. Bring me blocks of iron. He built a barrier. And then he said, now build a fire, blow with your bellows. And then he took molten copper and poured it over that iron wall which he had built. When he built it, then Gog and Magog could no longer penetrate the barrier or scale it. Zulkarnain then said, هَذَا رَحْمَةٌ مِّن رَبِّي. This barrier is an act of kindness from my Lord. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي. But when that time comes of which my Lord has warned, namely the last stage with the 10 signs, جَعَلَهُ دَكَّاءَ. Allah is going to bring down the barrier. And when He does that, Gog and Magog are going to be released. That's the origin of the story of Gog and Magog. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ informed us that Gog and Magog were actually released into the world in his lifetime. And so we've been living in the world of Gog and Magog since that time. But they grow and they escalate their oppression. Every age becoming more corrupted than the last one. Every age having more oppression than the last one, until we reach the present age. How do they do it? Firstly, their indestructible power. You have to look for a people who will eventually control the world and who have an indestructible power and who bring the Jews back to the Holy Land and make possible the restoration of a state of Israel in the Holy Land. Who are they? That is the easiest question you will ever be asked. It is the White World Order. It is a Europe which used to be Christian and was then mysteriously transformed into an essentially godless people. When Gog and Magog are released, and now we've identified them, European, modern Western civilization, then said the Prophet ﷺ, none of them dies without leaving 1,000 more behind. Oh, I would be delighted if I can train 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 young men, train them in bringing the whole world together. But it is corrupting the whole world. When Gog and Magog took control of the world, they then proceeded to bring all of mankind together in one global society. And we are now today sitting at a moment in time when that process is far advanced. Anywhere you go in the world today is the same food. McDonald's hamburgers and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Anywhere you go in the world today, you see people in the same blue jeans. Anywhere you go in the world today, people have the same sicknesses. Hypertension, heart problem. Anywhere you go in the world today, people dying for the same reasons, same causes. Oh yes. And so one global society is emerging under the impact of modern European Western civilization that we can identify as the civilization of Gog and Magog.